Hi, first grade. This is Mrs. Crosswhite. I'm just here to show you what you're going to be doing to make your abstract sculpture. So these are the things you're going to need. You're going to need strips of paper. You can use any paper you have around the house. I found some old scraps of construction paper and just cut them up into some thinner strips. Some of them are thicker, some of them are shorter, longer. Doesn't matter. You could even use, for example, old takeout menus. You could use old magazines. Anything paper that you can cut into strips will work. So don't think you just have to use construction paper. You need scissors to cut them, of course. I'm using a paper plate. You could actually use a paper bowl. You could use a piece of cardboard from an old cereal box. Just something to glue your pieces onto. And then, of course, the other thing you're going to need is glue. It is best to use liquid glue for this, but glue sticks could work. It just might take a little bit longer. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to be doing some folding techniques first. The first one is what I like to call the staircase. So you're going to take one strip of paper and you're going to fold one little tab down. And then you're going to flip it over and fold again. You're going to see you get this little bend. And I'm going to keep doing that. So I'm going to flip and fold. So fold, flip, fold, flip, until my paper runs out. And what this is actually called is it's actually called an accordion fold. So that's the first technique I can use in making my sculpture. But we're going to go ahead and call it a staircase fold, because it does kind of look like a staircase. The next one is pretty easy, and it's called tabs. So I'm going to take a piece of paper, fold one end down, and fold the other end down. And these are called tabs. Now the next one, I'm going to use a strip of paper that's a little bit thicker. This is called fringe. So if I take my scissors and I cut little slits very close together, not all the way through the paper, what I get is fringe, which is kind of like this hairy kind of texture to my paper. And this is what we call fringe. As well. So the next one for our sculpture is fringe. So we're going to start off with these three, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to go back to our paper plate. We're going to use these three things, these three techniques, to build on top of our paper plate. So I'm going to start off with the tabs, because the tabs are pretty simple. I'm going to take my bottle of glue. I'm going to put one little dot of glue on each tab. And I'm going to bend my paper just a little bit. And I'm going to press it down onto my plate. And I'm going to press the tabs with my fingertips. So that way the glue is touching the paper plate. And I'm going to count in my head. So I'm going to count in my head actually to 15 to make sure the glue sets a little bit. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And I'm going to lift my fingers up. You see, the tabs have given me a nice little arch. I can do the same thing now with my staircase fold that I did. Or, in other words, my accordion fold. And it's called an accordion fold because it looks like a little accordion. And I'm going to put a dot of glue on each end. And I can place this on my plate. And again, I count to 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And I lift my fingers. And I'm starting to get what's called three-dimensional shapes. So I'm starting to actually get things that pop off my plate. And that's the goal of this. We want things that actually stand up off our plate because this is a sculpture. We're not working flat today. So I'm going to do the same thing with the fringe. I can fold the ends and make myself some little tabs and start adding dots of glue to each end and building around my sculpture. Now this is the fun part. Once you start getting a couple pieces in there, you can actually build on top of each other. You don't have to just stick with attaching flat to the base of what you're using. So I'm using the paper plate. So if you're using a piece of cardboard, same thing. I can actually start attaching pieces to each other. So this is what I have so far. Now, I'm going to put this off to the side for a second, and I'm going to think to myself real quick what other ones I can use. And I'm going to start making different staircases. So I'm going to make my staircase fold again. And now I can go back and attach it in different places to my sculpture. Now, this is what we call something that parents, this is what we call a little bit of non-objective. It doesn't need to look like a thing unless you want it to. You, of course, can use your imagination and start building like a little town. Some people like to say it's a little playground where they can walk their toys around. But this is really to practice skills with manipulating paper and building up as opposed to staying flat. All right, there we go. So those were the three that we started off with. Other ones you can do, and you can work with just those three techniques for now if you'd like. Other ones you could work with are cylinders. So I can place one dot of glue on the end of a strip and roll my strip around and pinch to make a cylinder. Now when you do this, you have to pinch, you have to hold it for a good little while. So that way the glue has time to set. And now I've made a cylinder. If we use our imaginations here, we can imagine that this is a tunnel for a city. It's a tunnel on a playground, anything at all. So I'm going to go back to my sculpture now with my tunnel, and I can put another dot of glue. Again, fingers get a little gluey. That's okay. Lots of fun when we get to use glue. And I'm going to press this down with just one finger. We never have to press too hard. So that way I have a tunnel as well. And then I'm going to let go. Now, optional materials I had given you were crayons. So when you're done with the sculpture part, if you want to take your crayons and add designs to your plate or to your base, you can. You can do something as simple as lines and patterns around. You can add details if you ended up making something like a city or a town or a map. It's up to you. That, of course, is for your child to explore. If you have any questions on how to extend this or how to substitute materials, let me know. It is really important for kids to start manipulating and building and using things so we don't lose track of those muscles and skills, of course. All right, guys, I miss you all very much. I hope everything's going good first grade, and I hope to see you soon.